Hi, Eric.
Hello.
It's a great pleasure to speak with you today here in Madrid. You just gave a presentation. How did you feel about that? How did it go?
Oh, but I feel great about it. I was a little bit nervous, and I think if you see the presentation online, you will see that I was a little bit nervous because it is a big stage and it's a big honor and privilege to be at Madrid Fusion. I think it's one of the highlights of my career, yeah, to be here as a presenter, you know. But I presented a little bit about my philosophy in the restaurant because, if we take time away of the equation, then there's nothing, because everything is time. Time is the only thing you can't buy. So if we put time into the aspect of a product, so we need the right product, it takes time. To source the right product takes your time. But to present it needs also to be on the premises of the product then, because if you get a scallop from the deep sea of Norway, a man jumps in a suit and dives after it. Why would I try to mask it with all types of flavors instead of just trying to highlight the quality of the product? That is my philosophy as a chef. It is to bring forward the natural quality of the product that I work with. So that was also what my presentation was about. And then, of course, a little bit about our story, how we came to here, which is it is a love story, because I often get asked the question, why are we a success? And the right answer is my wife. She is the reason we are a success, because she makes me wholesome. She completes me, and she makes me not doubt my quality as a chef. She makes me feel strong. She runs the restaurant she's the restaurant manager, but she's also the octopus of everything in our operation. She makes everything happen, and we wouldn't be here without her. So our story is most definitely a love story, because it is pure love, and also the love for the ingredients and the love for our kids. And if we have to take time away from going to work to be away from the kids, of course we have to do that, but then that time we are away also needs to be with value. So we put effort to become the best of what we do, because or else it's a wasted time. So when we go to work, we are 100% dedicated to work, because then we can also be 100% dedicated at home. And both worlds feed off each other. Make sense?
Yeah.
So without the one, we wouldn't have the other, because it makes us like a unit, like a wholesome unit. Yes.
You also talked about a moment ago love for produce.
Yes.
How do you quantify that? How do you feel that there's love for something you're about to cook?
I think a product needs to be a good life before it becomes a product. I think that is the essence of when we talk about good products. They need to have a good life before they become a product. And if you have dedicated people working your products, it can be the diver who dives the scallops, or the people who farm the sturgeons for the caviar. You can easily taste if there's a lack of passion behind an ingredient. It's very easy because there's so many bad ingredients out there. So the ones that are very good, that stands out, are also the products where people have spent their time to make the product the best. And that is why I started by saying time is the only thing you can't buy. You need to put it with passion, yes. And then we can be fortunate enough to get access to some of these products. And when we have them in, we need to treat them with the utmost respect. And that is what we do in the cooking style of me. It's like to put the product in front and then the rest behind.
Speaking of what you do at Jordnær, what's a typical experience like for a guest? Like when they arrive at the door of your restaurant, what happens?
I think they get surprised how welcoming and open-minded and open-armed we are as a restaurant. We want to include the guest in the dining experience, and not having them being on the side of their own experience. We want them to have their experience with us, feel like they were dining at our house. I like that because we created the whole restaurant around the feeling we wanted to receive ourselves when we go dining. So the waiters are top professionals, but they are very down to earth, like Jordnær. The food is very high-end gastronomy, I do get that, but it's still down to earth. Because we are not trying to make people feel like they don't understand what we do. We want them to be included into what we do, yes.
So you don't challenge them.
Of course I challenge them, but not just for the challenge. But of course we do have some things that, but you know, one thing we can say is, taste you can never debate, because if I love it, you might hate it. But we can always discuss the quality. And that is what I would say, because not all dishes are for everybody. I do understand that. Some textures are not for everybody, but we don't do crazy gastronomy. We cook food. We cook ingredients and serve ingredients. I'm not that good at the other things, so I let other people do that.
There's a bit of a parallel between Spanish cuisine from maybe 20 years ago and Danish cuisine now, and the kind of effect they had on global gastronomy. It's before many people looked at Spain for new ideas, new techniques. Now many look at Denmark and Copenhagen in particular. So do you think this parallel is true? Do you think that chefs, young chefs from all around the world, also experienced chefs, look more at what you guys do in Denmark now than Spain for new ideas?
Yes, of course there is always, I think this inspiration, it shuffles around because it was France, then it's Spain and Italy, you know, and I think over time that people will experience in some years, the Nordic region, the Scandinavian cuisine will also have to remove from being the culinary attention center for another destination. And I mean, look at South America. It's really interesting to look what's going on down there. Yes, to be honest, Mexico and South America, I think it's on the move, you know. So, and I think we all gain something from every time there's a shift of focus, you know, for the world gastronomy, because the impact that the Spanish kitchen had, we still feel it, and together with the impact that the Nordic kitchen have, you know, and then let's see what happens in South America, and then over time another place and another place. Africa is on the move, yeah. The gastronomy scene in Africa is on the bloom, and for me as a gastronomy interested person, it makes me super happy that we share knowledge, because you know we need that, because nobody has the whole truth. We are all part of writing the history of the gastronomy in the future. So in 100 years time, people will say, "I imagine they did like this, man," you know, and like we do sometimes now with something that happened, but we still respect it, with what happened in the past, you know. We need to accept that we are taking the leader position in Scandinavia right now, but it will not last forever. It will not, and we will hopefully see a new generation of chefs who learn from us to take it the next level, yeah, take it a little bit further.
And about sharing, which you mentioned just a moment ago, like even in Copenhagen, there are many Italian chefs who work in all the famous restaurants. So I guess there is a lot of sharing also behind the scenes, you know, coming from Southern European culture, you know, Spain, Italy, and going into the food that you cook in Denmark, right?
Yeah, but I think you know, of course you have your cuisine that you cook. You know, I cook also regional. You know, I cook Scandinavian / French cuisine, highly influenced by Asian flavors like Japanese cuisine. I do. That's my kitchen. But I told you before the interview, and I say my dream is to do a pastaria in the northern part of Italy. So I think that, you know, food is an international language. That of course you need to be in a movement of something, or be present in a city or a country to speak the dialect. So, you know, so of course, but I think that food is international, you know, and it's a language of love. It is.
And what is it going to take for you to say, okay, I'm kind of done with Jordnær, I think I've reached all the goals I wanted, and now I'm going to try, I don't know, northern Italy, cooking pasta?
Since day one, I said to myself, the day I feel I don't have more to give, the day I don't feel happy and inspired, and when I look at my products, that day I will close my restaurant. The day where it just becomes a job, then I'm done. You know, because it's not a job. It is your passion. And if it's not your passion, you're not a chef. Simple as that.
Your menu had a lot of fish courses. Is fish only fish? Is that the main inspiration for you? Or is like...
Oh, it is, you know, I had meat on the menu 3 years ago. But I was like, I was butchering down some duck, I was breaking them down. And I was like, feeling so uninspired doing that. And it didn't arouse me, you know, it needs to wake some feelings in me when I work with my products. It's because I'm a product-driven chef. And I was like, and I see the turbot in the morning, I get excited. You know, every time I see the turbot, I fall in love. Every fucking time. So, of course, it's natural for me to cook with fish because it excites me. I think it's a beautiful creature, but it's also meat. It's just fish meat. I think people tend to forget that, yeah? That we are still cooking with meat, but it's just not red meat. So, and I haven't said I will never cook with meat. Right now, I don't feel inspired doing so. At one time, perhaps we will see meat on the menu again, I don't know. But I also think because we are living in a time where it's mostly about me talking about removing meat. It's never an issue if we turn it around and say, I add meat as a luxurious ingredient because it has no value anymore in the same way it has 20 years ago, because it's everywhere. In every meal of the day, there's meat included. So for me, it's also a matter of, okay, we have a position as a high-end restaurant where I'm invited to speak at Madrid Fusion. Perhaps we should be a little bit more aware of the amount of red protein we eat as a planet, because it is also helping the planet die if we continue the path we are on right now. Of course, the fishing industry is horrible, you know, with the trawling. So that's why we also choose sustainable fishing, you know. Of course, we also get some products from overseas, but we ensure that the quality of the life and the environment are kept before it becomes an ingredient. And I think more people should think about that. Yes.
When the food is sourced from areas where you know it doesn't endanger the environment, do you think that it also like tastes better as well?
Of course it does. It tastes of love. It does. And you know, when you have something which has time to be, let's say, you have let's take a goat. Just an example. You have a goat that lives in a cage. It's all life, and it's being made with no feelings at all. It's just a product. Then you get just a product. If you get a goat that's been out in the field and jumping around and being cuddled and having a life, it doesn't know it was born to die, you know. I'm pretty sure the one in the cage waiting for the executioner knows it. But you know, so of course you can taste if it's a good life before it becomes a good product, of course. Because people who want their produce to be the best and put the time and effort, they're carrying people, and of course you can taste that. So go for the best stuff instead of the cheapest one. Yes.
And finally, because we're in Spain, were there any Spanish chefs that inspired you more than others?
I think, wow, that's a tough question, because I think there is a lot of great Spanish chefs. I must say that Paulo Casagrande is one chef that I admire because his determination and his always smiling personality. It makes me really happy to know a guy like him. Of course, there is David Munoz, who is showing the world that everything is possible if you have the will, yeah. And I could go on. There are so many great chefs. Yelena Sack, amazing woman, yeah, and her father, amazing. You know, there's so many great chefs in Spain. It's where to start. And the food here is amazing. You know, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan, I will be honest, because there is also something pure about the Spanish cuisine. There is this attention to the details and the attention to the products, because it is, from my perspective, a very product-driven kitchen all over the regions of Spain. It is what it is, and it needs to be the best.
Well, thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you very much, my friend.
Thank you.